Good evening, folks. Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, what's happening in politics here in Yonkers and Westchester, as well as the state. Good evening, Yonkers. I am Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Let's talk about what is going on in politics over the past few days. Anyone watch the debate? The race for governor. Good evening, folks. I came on yesterday and I don't know what happened, so I'm gonna just go over some of the stuff I went over yesterday. But I want to talk about the debate just a little bit. Show a couple clips here from the debate that happened last night, I believe, and this was over at Pace University between Kathy Hochul and her challenger Lee Zeldin, the Republican. And this is the first question, actually, and of course, it's on bail reform. Hot topic.
You won our drawing this morning. Crime and public safety are one of the top issues in this race. You've promised, if elected, to invoke a state of emergency on crime and suspend several laws, including bail reform measures, in order to improve public safety. But our state's Division of Criminal Justice Services, which tracks statistics, says that it's too early to draw conclusions, pointing out that in 2019, prior to bail reform, the rate of rearrests of people out on bail in New York City was roughly 19% and remains statistically the same at around 20% in 2021 after bail reform. DCJS, this division, of course, maintains the DNA database, administers the sex offender registry and the missing persons clearinghouse. My question is, if you become governor, would you make policy despite the agency's findings?
Well, listen, you ask the will of the people. They want to see reform. Even Mayor Adams says that judges should have discretion to weigh dangerousness. I don't think that if you're two Mexican cartel drug smugglers busted with $1.2 million worth of crystal meth, that you should just be instantly released on cashless bail. Now, Kathy Hochul supports cashless bail. As soon as it got implemented, she was out there bragging about it. She chose the champion of the defund the police movement and the architect of cashless bail, Brian Benjamin. Yeah, that guy who got arrested and had to resign. That was her first big decision to make him the lieutenant governor. We need to repeal cashless bail. We need to repeal the HALT Act, amend raise the age, and less is more. We need to make our streets safe again. I'm running to take back our streets and to support unapologetically our men and women in law enforcement. This is about all of us together, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, as New Yorkers, to make sure our streets are safe again, to make sure our subways are safe again. This is our opportunity. 2 weeks from tonight, we can continue with the status quo where they believe they haven't passed enough pro-criminal laws, or we could take control of our destiny and make sure law-abiding New Yorkers are in charge of our streets again.
Okay, I'll give you a chance to respond, Mrs. Hochul.
Well, I'd be happy to. First of all, you can either work on keeping people scared or you can focus on keeping them safe. I have worked hard to have real policies that are making a difference. And as you mentioned, that data is still being collected, but I did focus on bail reform in our budget. That's why the budget was 9 days late, because I insisted on common sense changes. But there is no crime fighting plan if it doesn't include guns, illegal guns. And you refuse to talk about how we can do so much more. You didn't even show up for votes in Washington when a bipartisan group of enlightened legislators voted for an assault weapon ban. I mean, we lost another child and a teacher yesterday in St. Louis because people will not support what I was able to get done here in New York, and that is a ban on assault weapons for teenagers. You can't even do that. It's quite extraordinary, but it's about getting the guns off the streets. That's the first start. We have more to do, but I'm the one to do it.
Did you want to respond? Yes.
Yeah, of course. Unfortunately, Kathy Hochul believes that the only crimes that are being committed are these crimes with guns. And you have people who are afraid of being pushed in front of oncoming subway cars. They're being stabbed, beaten to death on the street with hammers. Go talk to the Asian American community and how it's impacted them with the loss of lives. Jewish people targeted with raw, violent anti-Semitism on our streets. It just happened yet again. we need to be talking about all of these other crimes, but instead, Kathy Hochul's too busy patting herself on the back. Job well done. No, actually, right now, there should be a special session. The state legislature should come back and they should overhaul cashless bail and these other pro-criminal laws with zero tolerance. But they're saying, elect me. She says, elect me, and then you'll find out where maybe I'll stand on this issue in January.
I want to.
What do you guys think of that? I like the way Lee Zeldin is very animated. And maybe because I'm kind of that type of person. I'm very animated myself. But he brings up a lot of good points that I like. Look, I'm a Democrat, but at the end of the day, I don't really like the party thing, right? But they say you have to pick a party. But I want my kids and my wife to be safe. I want to be safe, and I want all of you folks out there to be safe. And there are a lot of problems that we have here, and I get it. Crime is up all across the country. But is it because bail reform has been implemented all across the country? Right? I didn't realize it until very recently that bail reform is not just a New York thing. It's happening everywhere. And there are a lot of critics all over the country who are experiencing high crime, right? And they're attributing it to the bail reform that was implemented in their state or their city. As William says, he is against abortion. This race will be about abortion and bail reform or nail reform, abortion rights. Yeah, he says he believes that he doesn't believe in abortion, but he doesn't plan on, making abortion illegal in New York State. That's not his goal. So he doesn't want people to think that if he's voted, that's it. He's going to fight to make abortion illegal in the state of New York. He understands that a lot of people in the state of New York, the majority of people probably are in support of abortion. It's been that way in New York forever. I doubt it's ever going to change, so I don't think he plans on it. And it wouldn't be a smart move for him to, say that that's what he wanted to do, right? It wouldn't be a smart move for him to say that. William Ward, he's profiled, but he has said multiple times he's not touching it. Right, there you go. It's codified in New York. He couldn't do anything even if he wanted to. Right, exactly. So he's not going to touch it. It's a smart move not to go there. I wouldn't see why he would touch that. I think the big issue really is bail reform. Bail reform. Crime is high, and also housing, which I'll get to in a minute, and they talk about that as well. I'm a registered Democrat, but there are times I certainly cross party lines. Right, and that's because you feel, many different things, and you shouldn't be pigeonholed, right? Or you shouldn't be put into this one box of you're a Democrat. But unfortunately, that's kind of how we're forced to, right? If you're in support of abortion, then you're a Democrat. If you're against abortion, then you're a Republican. Why can't I be a Democrat and still not really believe in abortion? I'm just saying in generally speaking, right? Why is that? Or why can't I be a Democrat and be in support of bail reform? Or reforming bail reform, I should say, you know what I mean? Or maybe, doing away with this bail reform stuff, right? Because at the end of the day, as a Democrat, I want to be safe. And as a Democrat, you want to be safe and you want your family to be safe, right? And so some of the things that you may hear Republicans say are going to resonate with you, right? And that's what I say. We got to do away with this party stuff, because at the end of the day, as humans right here living together in society, we all pretty much want this very same things. And one of them is what we're touching on here, and that is safe communities. We want low crime, right? Obviously, we want no crime, but that's probably not possible. But we want, as low crime as possible. And so that's, I think, goes across party lines. I'm an independent, but I vote along all different parties. Yeah, as you should. And one of the individuals that has been supporting...
Follow up with you, Mr. Zeldin. You have vowed to remove the district attorney...
One of the people that has been supporting bail reform that's actually up for re-election is Nader Sayegh, the Democrat assemblyman who's running for re-election. His challenger, Mike Breen, is maybe thinking he could win here. I mean, in the very beginning, people said Breen had no chance. But as the year progressed and, things seem to be getting worse here in the country, and people are starting to really lean more and more over to the right, because they're starting to say, wait a minute, Democrats, some of them, the liberals are just too much, right? Too all the way left. And you're getting too crazy with it. And it's causing chaotic, because at the end of the day, we just want a sense of peace and stability in our society. So I saw this. This is actually from 2018, but I think it's very relevant to today. It's about Nader Sayegh. This is on the Hamlet Hub, Southwest Yonkers, and I'll read some of it. At a June 10th meeting of the NYCD, 16 indivisible elected officials and candidates in attendance were given opportunity to address the audience. All but one spoke about his or her vision and principles. Most were passionate about protecting civil and human rights, the necessity of affordable health care, and or the imperative of making it easier to exercise our right to vote. The exception to all the other speakers was Dr. Nader Sayegh, right? I found this article to be funny, actually. He stood at the lectern and told his life story from start to finish. And he likes to do that, right? He likes to say, you know, I've been an educator for over 30 years as a lifelong educator. And he repeats that same record, you know, it's the broken record, you know what I mean? He stood, I read it, from start to finish, it was a description of growing up in Yonkers and the work and the work positions he's held. Remember this because it is the tell on the doctor. One of the first questions posed to the doctor is why he calls himself a doctor when his highest academic degree is a law degree, right? So here's what he's answered according to the woman wrote this. The doctor's demeanor changed. He shrunk behind the lectern, am I saying that right? And spoke almost in a whisper. He said that in the field of education, where he has spent as a school principal and in the Yonkers Board of Education, it is customary to refer to a lawyer who is not practicing law as a doctor. Anybody ever knew that? If you're a lawyer, but you work in the in education, right? And so it's commonly it's customary to be referred to as a doctor. Right. So this man has been caught in a lot of lies. I mean, he's literally lied in front of a Supreme Court judge. He committed fraud and then tried to lie about it when they challenged it in court. Right. And Supreme Court judge even said that he should probably be disbarred and lose his law license for what he did. He lied and said that he witnessed the signatures that he got. And that was a lie. And he seems to have a history of this within his bloodline, his genealogy. I don't know what's going on here, but he seems to lie a lot, and it goes on to tell other lies. I posted this on the on my website on the page, I should say. But this is also important, and I wanted to read this part. The doctor was president of the Yonkers Board of Education when it had a $50 million shortfall in its budget. At the meeting, a gentleman who had worked on resolving the problems caused by the shortfall asked the doctor how this had occurred under his watch. The doctor exclaimed, well, we discovered the shortfall. Then proceeding with the meandering word salad, just so disjointed that an accurate description of what he said is beyond my ken. That is my comprehension. But think about his immediate response. We discovered it. Imagine hiring a security company to protect your goods, and when your goods are stolen, the security company says, well, hey, we discovered that they were stolen. So we did our job, right? So that's what they're trying to say there, right? And why wasn't he, let go or removed? Because there was individuals that were removed or fired even for the Board of Education over this. And I wondered why, when he was the president of the Board of Trustees, why wasn't he held responsible in some way? Was he a part of that whole collusion? Because many speculate that was just some smoke and mirrors in order to combine the Yonkers school budget, public school budget, I should say, and the city budget together under the administration. And maybe he helped out, and that's why he's been supported ever since. I want to go on to read a little more here. The doctor acknowledged that he had changed his registration from the Independence Party to the Democratic Party, and many individuals do this. These candidates have done this. They were Republican, folks. Right? I mean, many of the Democrats here in the city of Yonkers were once Republicans. They say there really is no party here in the city of Yonkers, right? So he changed into the Democratic Party only last year. That was 2017. So he could run for an office. But when I asked why he supported so many Republicans for so long, he denied having supported GOP candidates. When I said I could prove that he had, again, he shrunk behind the lectern, rationalizing that it is the Independence Party that supports Republicans, and he was just one person in the party. Right, so you support the Republicans, right? But that we've seen that time and time. Hey, Don, time and time again from our elected officials. They flip flop, not just on issues. They flip flop on parties as well, right? And it's wherever they feel they can get the most votes. Obviously, Yonkers has become more and more Democratic over the years. Not like in the late 80s when we had the whole DSEG stuff going on, right? That was very Republican. Not to try and diss the Republicans. But anyway, so he's running for re-election in November 8th. He'll also be up for re-election. the Assembly of 90th District. Mike Breen is a challenger, the Republican, the common sense candidate, as he says, right? So I want to go and show some more of this debate here.
I want to move on. Mr. Zeldin, New York City in particular is seeing record high rents. New Yorkers upstate are getting priced out of starter homes. According to the New York State Unified Court System, there have been more than 150,000 eviction filings this year alone. A lot of that, of course, is the result of the pandemic. What is your plan to ensure that families can access stable, affordable housing? And what do you believe the state's financial commitment toward affordable housing should be?
Well, while we need to be building more affordable housing, there are individuals and companies that want to invest here, but because it takes so long for them to be able to get approvals, the process is so drawn out that they're looking to other states and they're sending their money elsewhere. I just spoke to someone who's moving operations down to North Carolina instead of investing that money right here. We have people at the state level, bureaucrats drawing it out. You can abuse the litigation process to draw this process out. And honestly, the last conversation that we were just having, the last question about improving the economy, creating more good paying jobs, that's going to be important for us to be able to have individuals who can afford to have that dream of home ownership. But in Kathy Hochul's New York, you can either have your first kid here in the basement of mom and dad's house, or you can move to some other state and buy your own home in Cary, North Carolina. First-time home buyer credits is going to be a very important thing for us to ramp up in this state. Keeping the American dream alive as a New York dream is right now under attack. It gets reversed January 1st.
I don't think I heard an answer on that, but let me talk about what we've done already before I respond. $25 billion in the last budget to build 100,000 more units of affordable housing. I go to more ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings from the Bronx to Brooklyn to Rochester to Buffalo, and we're building this. But in the meantime, we have to continue helping those who were subjected to having a loss of income during the pandemic. They couldn't make their rent payments. Landlords were hurt. They were hurt. I'm the one who opened up billions of dollars my first week on the job to make sure we could help them be stabilized. But going forward, I have a plan that's going to help us with office space conversions in places like New York City, also do the more building, but also break down some of the barriers that are there. There's a lot of zoning. Transit-oriented development makes sense. We've seen the success of it all over Long Island and in the lower mid-Hudson area. And so there's policies that we can talk about, not just it's going to be better on January 1, just wait. You have to have real policies behind this.
We're going to move on to abortion. Mrs. Hochul, you say that you support a woman's right to choose.
Housing is a big issue. It's a national crisis. It's a county crisis. It's a state crisis. It's a local crisis. We've been talking about this here in the city of Yonkers. We were let down by a majority leader and the city council, the Democrats, supermajority, right? All Democrats. I thought housing was a Democratic issue. You see, that's why party stuff is BS. Our elected officials let us down when they did not get a housing ordinance passed. And there's much needed, housing, or there's a shortage here, and there's much need of housing here. It's so bad that there are legal apartments popping up everywhere, and they're actually considering making them legal, right? The shortage of affordable housing has reached peak proportion. The recent influx of undocumented migrants into the metro area, don't just blame the migrants, though. Into the area, and the lack of places for them to stay has highlighted the issue. Well, maybe it's highlighted it. Yeah. Senator Peter Harkin has proposed a bill to alleviate the housing crisis by allowing homeowners to convert garages and basements to legal living quarters. Additional sponsors of the bills are Senator Biaggi, Comrie, I don't know, I can't even pronounce these, May, Ramos, and Salazar. Senate Bill S4747A as an apple will legalize basement apartments and garage conversions, sometimes known as granny flats or death traps, without regard to local zoning. It would permit homeowners to take out low-cost loans to pay for the conversion, putting people into debt while putting others into dangerous situations. Unbelievable. The bill is currently under review, and that's where it needs to stay. That's unbelievable. It was introduced by Harvey Epstein. Yeah. Yeah. So they want to allow these illegal apartments in the basements and garages to be legal, but they're dangerous. I just had a client who had a fire here in Yonkers. Her home was destroyed. She rented it out to an individual who then started to sublease it out. The addict was subleased to two different individuals. That's where the fire started, doing hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of damage to the home. Luckily, no one was killed. However, many people have been killed in these illegal basement apartments, and they're just going to allow this by, making it illegal, disregarding zoning laws. And that's exactly what Kathy Hochul said was going to be a solution, right? We're passing legislation to, all these zoning, laws. They're just in the way of creating more housing. But the problem is that they've been creating more luxury developments than affordable housing. There's an obvious need that's in your face. And what do? They go on a luxury development boom, developing everywhere. And she says she wants to. She passed or got money to the state of New York to help people become income or stabilize themselves, by added income or something like that. And we need to bring jobs. Yeah, we need to bring jobs. That's right, good paying jobs. And I'm sorry that it's all BS to me. That's why I can't even what do you say? Obviously, we need jobs. We need jobs. That's what they should have done here in the city. That's what they should be doing everywhere, bringing in jobs that pay a livable wage. They promised everyone in Yonkers that they would be getting jobs through these developments. They promised everyone in Yonkers that they would be getting jobs at Lionsgate. And according to Joe Carter, who I spoke to personally, he has hired over 100 people from the city of Yonkers. And he made sure to make the point to say, not just security guards. Guess he's been watching the show. Right. But I don't agree with this. I think the answer is not to allow, these dangerous apartments, illegal apartments to be legal, but to build more affordable housing, slow down the luxury development. There was in the meeting on Tuesday, the city council discussed the waterfront park that they are proposing over in Ludlow Park. They want to get 2 acres over there to build this beautiful park so they can beautify the area. I believe Breen or Moranti were opposed to it. They said that they could bring more housing. Moranti says he would like to see housing built there. Pineda Isaac, who was in support of it, and as well as Shanae Williams, said that if they opened it up for housing, that it would most likely be expensive luxury housing. Well, they acknowledge that these luxury developments are expensive, but why can't they make it that it would be, without a doubt, affordable housing? There is something called an affordable housing trust fund. That's supposed to be full of money from the developers who refuse to meet the required 10% in their developments. Developers like AMS, who are building a 900-unit luxury development on Buena Vista called the Teutonia. And out of that 900, only 45 will be affordable units. They're supposed to put 90, but they're not. So 45, they're supposed to come up with a number per each apartment and then put that amount into this trust fund so they can build affordable housing elsewhere. So where is that money? Why not use it to build 100% affordable housing there so they can have also waterfront views and all the amenities? But it's BS. It's really for the luxury people, because Ginsburg is going to build over there in Ludlow Park on Fernbrook Street, where Joe Carter owns property and others. And they're going to build luxury buildings all around it, 5-story tall or high. And they're the ones that are going to utilize that waterfront park, not the people who lived in Yonkers all their lives. So they're selling us a bill of goods, I should say. And it's BS. And I want to go back to the crime. This gun control stuff, that's just an agenda. She says, oh, it's about the gun control, the guns. That's the thing. We have to get the guns off. That's really the reason. But overdoses are a bigger problem. Some country, some terrorist group, some organization is shipping fentanyl into the United States and is killing people. It's an attack. I don't believe these are drug dealers selling this stuff, or maybe some are, but they're stupid. But those who are the people they're getting it from, the suppliers, I believe, have an agenda to kill people. Over 100,000 people die a year of overdoses. right? And this bail reform thing is across the country, and everyone's pissed off. So I don't want to hear the gun control agenda, Kathy. I want to read this article in regards to Lionsgate, because this is the reason why we have a housing shortage here in the city of Yonkers. This is the reason why so many people are being priced out, being evicted, buildings are being condemned. This is what's going on here. Many of us may not see this. Really quick, Freddy, you don't have a Democratic Party anymore. You have a deep left, far left, radical, insane party. They are going to get destroyed come November 8th. There is a big wave coming, and I think Nader Sage feels it. That's why I see his signs everywhere, everywhere. Gun control will not benefit the citizens. It will benefit the criminals. I know, right? Like, I mean, hello. They don't get guns the legal way, right? So I don't understand. Gun control only prevents people like you and I who have no criminal record, contrary to Pedro Rivera, who says I have a drug arrest. We don't have any criminal records, but we can't get guns, right? Don't care about any laws. That's why they're criminals. Yeah, exactly. That doesn't make sense, right? Bad bill from the start. Lots of Democrats in name only in Yonkers, Freddie. Absolutely. Many of them were Republicans, like John Rubo, Dave Tubiolo. I believe Nader Sage was Republican, then Independence Party, then Democrat. I believe even the Mayor Spano was a Republican. And who else? Did I miss anyone? Pretty much they're all Republicans. Even the city council, Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, Tasha Diaz, Shanae Williams, who else? Corazon Pineda Isaac. They're all Republicans, okay? They killed affordable housing. They brought luxury developments to Yonkers. That's a Republican thing. Making money, rich folk thing. Right? Affordable housing is a Democrat thing, and you guys didn't do that. You did the opposite. So you guys are Republicans at heart. Remember that, folks. They're Republicans at heart. Unfortunately, the voters aren't paying attention to much when a whole family of Albany Republicans can lose their gigs at the state level, return to their hometown, become Democrats overnight, and enrich themselves off the municipality for 3 or more terms. You know a lot, Anthony. You do know a lot, and I think that may have some folks a little bit, concerned. You are an insider, as I would say, and as many would say. You are an insider that is now speaking outsider, speaking out. You're speaking out, and that concerns folks. She's down with it. It's why she keeps building safe drug use spots, safe drug havens coming to neighborhoods near all of us. Yeah. Is that where they're talking about where they want to build areas where people can inject themselves and things like that? I don't know. I don't think we should enable that stuff, right? The court struck down her gun reforms. Good. Anyway, I want to read this article real quick. They had some convention here. This is Lionsgate studio developer discusses making Yonkers Hollywood on the Hudson. Have you seen the signs all around? Signs all around Yonkers. Hollywood and the Hudson. Hollywood and the Hudson. They're taking over. That's it. The movie studio people, the Hollywood weirdos, the Holly weirdos, as they call them, are taking over, and they're pushing us out. They're pushing us out. Either get down or lay down. That's basically what they're saying. Most people are going to have to just get out because they can't afford it. People are complaining all over about their rents going up. The conditions that their apartments are in. The landlords won't fix it because they want them out. There's even, some rumors, and I'm getting some information, and I'm waiting for this, of fake papers from the building department signed by a gentleman named Donahue stating that the building has been condemned and that everyone needs to move. And when the people call, there's nothing on record. It's not real. But the gentleman's name is Donahue, according to my sources. I have to get the paperwork and stuff. It's a lot of strange stuff going on to get people out. It's a real agenda here. I wanted to read this. We wanted to, all right, Halami, he's the developer of the builder of the studios. A Westchester County native explained that he chose Yonkers to build 3 film and television production studio campuses, one of which houses Lionsgate, because the city lies within a crucial 20-mile radius from Manhattan. Halami said that he sought unusual spaces like the former Otis Elevator building and the former Rising Ground residential school. We wanted something, someplace unique. Some of the studios are old warehouses and they really don't look that great, said Halami. who called the former Otis Elevator building spectacular. We have these beautiful old buildings incorporated into these modern facilities. It's a seamless transfer, and it's really something that I could never have dreamed of. By the completion of construction in December 2023, the $500 million Great Point Studios in Yonkers will be the largest media production facility in the Northeast, and it will consist of 3 locations here in Yonkers. Downtown Yonkers. The location in downtown Yonkers on Wells Avenue will be the headquarters and primary production center. The South Campus on Hawthorne Avenue will house the largest LED screen stage in the United States. The North Campus on North Broadway will be leased by MediaPro, a European film and television production company that also occupies space at the Wells Avenue location. Great Point Studios South Campus will also house a new media high school for the Yonkers Public Schools. The new school will be open unprecedented opportunities for Yonkers youth interested in media. Everyone is. Careers at a time of explosive content production due to online streaming. Helmy said that students who graduate from this high school will possess valuable skills that will position them for higher wage jobs with media production companies. Let me tell you, folks, that's a bunch of listen, I'm not saying some people won't succeed. And listen, it's possible, but you don't have to go to a media school. Like I said, I graduated with a guy. I knew him. My wife knew him probably better. They talked more. He became senior vice president at Marvel Studios over there in Hollywood, LA. He was the executive director of Captain America and all the Marvel movies that they made. This guy, Jeremy Latcham, right? We graduated. This guy, like, whoa. Right? Jeremy Latcham. And anyway, he didn't go to a film media school. It's about connections. He knew some people. Media is tough. It's not easy to get into this business. I wanted to be in the music business, and I worked hard. I busted my ass, and I got places, and I worked with individuals and around big names, and I'm not, say a name, but it still didn't, translate into this big career making millions and millions of dollars. I ended up in insurance, private insurance, right? But, did other things from there. And so it's tough. Many, 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 many people will come, but few are chosen to actually make it into this business. And so I don't want our kids being sold this dream. And more so, we are being sold this dream about this great Hollywood on the Hudson that's going to take over Southwest and Northwest Yonkers for the movie studios, the largest in the Northeast. And that is why many people are being pushed out. That is why they're bringing in all these luxury developments for the folks that are going to be coming in to work at these studios, because they don't plan on hiring from Yonkers. I'm sorry to bust your bubble. It's just too much time, too costly. Have to train people. It's a schedule. We got shoots going on. Got to get this series done, this movie done. And maybe over time, slowly, they'll integrate some people from Yonkers 10, 15, 20 years down the line. And that's those who want to be in the movie industry, right? Because not everybody wants to be in the movie industry. Just like Tasha Diaz says that not everybody that goes to the PAL wants to play sports or is interested in sports or being an athlete. And speaking of the PAL, they're going to also build another film school there. On top of the PAL, they plan on developing a film school called SICK Film School, social internet content or something like that. And it's being brought by a gentleman by the name of Jesus. I didn't get a last name. They spoke about it in the Yonkers City Council meeting, and they just kept saying Jesus, 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 Jesus. Well, this school seeks to, work with at-risk youth specifically to address or discuss issues like drug abuse, mental health, gun control. And they're going to work to develop social content for the internet. To me, it seems like they want to socially program our kids, program these ideologies into their heads, and then put it out into the internet to try and program other people's. How is this going to benefit them? How is this going to help them get out of poverty? How is it going to keep them from being at risk of repeating a cycle of poverty? They may not end up in jail. They may not end up dead. But will they have succeed beyond what they've been living for generations now? Right? We want them to break a cycle of poverty. And one of the things I got upset about, and I've been watching a lot of stuff with Kanye West and all that. And it's funny. Have you guys been following Kanye West? He lost his deal with Adidas. Not to sidetrack real quick, but he lost his deal with Adidas. His point is being proven, and he's being strategic. Adidas started selling sneakers again. I mean, nobody cared about Adidas. They were wearing Nike. Then come to Kanye, the Yeezys, some ugly sneakers, in my opinion. But sales went through the roof. And then they dropped him. I'm still trying to understand exactly what it was that he said that was so bad. That was worse than things I've heard about other groups. And no one got in trouble for that. Right? So he went over to Skechers today, where he was escorted out by security. He lost his deal with Adidas. He's trying to go over to Skechers. But let me ask you this. Do you really think he wants to do a deal with Skechers? Do you think he wants to do a deal with anyone? No. He's trying to prove a point. I can't do it myself because people control everything, right? And that's the point. I can't distribute it. I don't have the supply, the materials, distribution lines, the financing. And then so they're shutting him out. So he went to Skechers to prove a point. Right. And so I've been listening and watching a bunch of stuff about this. And the gentleman talked about, the limitations of Blacks and Hispanics. And this is something that I've also observed, and it's bothered me as well, because it seems like they always want to push Blacks and Hispanics, towards entertainment. Like it's like basketball, sports, entertainment. Why don't bring schools that they teach kids how to be engineers? Right? I want them to be owners. I want these are how these kids break the cycle of poverty. But all you present to them is, opportunities to be, entertainers. Just like they had a program in one of the Yonkers public schools where they were teaching the kids to juggle. They had this article. They had these young African-American kids juggling. What are they, clowns? That was around the same time that Mimi Roca was speaking with the Yonkers NAACP, and the fact that they did not have many Blacks working in the Westchester County District Attorney's Office. And Mimi Roca's response was that they could not find enough qualified African Americans to hire. Well, of course, you're not. You're teaching them how to juggle. Why not teach them law? Create a debate team. Do mock trials, not juggle. And this is what our elected officials thought would be a great idea to fund. And so it bothers me, and maybe you may not understand, and I love everyone, and this is not to blame anyone. I'm just hoping that maybe you can make this observation along with me. And it's for me as a minority, as a Puerto Rican, right? It seems like we are limited, and that's what Kanye West is saying. We are limited to what we are allowed to succeed in. We're not taught how to become the architects, the engineers, the computer engineers, so we could be the Elon Musk, the Jeff Bezos, the Bill Gates. We only have entertainment. Kanye West is the richest Black man in American history. Entertainment, fashion, right? And so we don't become the owners. We don't become the financiers. Where's the school of finance? Teach kids how to invest their money, how to build wealth. Not give them hopes and you sell them dreams that one day they could become famous. And, that's what I would hear so much from growing up. Most of the guys I grew up with want to be rappers, basketball players, or pimps. It's just a fact. Someone to hustle, right? And they don't, and what I learned to become an owner, because I want to be an owner, I had to learn for people that did not look like me, their skin complexion, but they were great. They took me in. They saw something in me. And so, I would be around people that were not like me because, some people took a like me, they taught me, they brought me to the table. And, sometimes they'd forget that I was there and they would say some, really racist things about Black people, especially. And I'd have to remind them that I was in the room. And this happens every day in the corporate America, banking, and so we are limited. And our elected officials who are minority women, you guys got to do better than that. Stop bringing in all this, circus stuff. Let's teach our kids some real stuff to get out of poverty, financial literacy, financial money management, entrepreneurship, coding, robotics engineering, artificial intelligence, all this stuff that's going to be the wave of the future. That if our kids aren't taught this, they're going to be left behind. And all they're going to have is entertainment, acting, singing, rapping, and slam dunking at basketball. How many of the basketball players own these teams? And so that bothers me, and I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to make it about race, but there's so much more that we could be learning, so much more that I learned from people that were, outside of my own race, because there were people that were my Puerto Ricans, blacks that were around me, just didn't know this stuff. They couldn't teach me, right? How to invest your money into real estate. That's big. That's big. I just liquidated a property. I got a nice check. I made money on it. Take that and invest that and make more money. And I leave businesses for my kids. My kids have seen us build our businesses, and they've been involved in that. And that's an education that they'll never get in school. That's an education they'll never get any of these programs that they try to bring here. And that's something, an education that's going to take them so much further. And what I helped build, that they'll take over. And that's what we got to teach these kids, to get out of poverty. Otherwise, they're going to repeat the cycle. Because to get into the movie industry, into the music industry, it's like winning the lotto. Okay? It's winning the lotto. So while you may keep them engaged with something, for the meantime, ultimately, where will it take them? Truthfully, honestly, where will it take them? Right? Or are they going to still be in the same neighborhood, thinking back in the day when they went to that film school at the top of PAL? 66 Black and Latino teenagers are missing in New York, and many from Yonkers and Westchester. Where are they going? Who's taking our babies? Ashley Williamson, 16, went missing last month in Mount Vernon. There was no major media coverage for her. Kiera Leone, 13, went missing last month in Yonkers. I didn't see anything on News 12 Westchester. Jaden Jennings, 17, went missing from Dobbs Ferry less than a week before Ashley. Nobody sent out an alert. Ethan Aponte, 16, went missing in Yonkers in June. Why are so many Black and Hispanic children going missing in New York? According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, as of October 24th, 2022, 2 days ago, 66 Black and Hispanic teenagers are missing in New York. Those missing in Yonkers are Kiera Leone, Anthony Aponte, and Aiden Early, are all under 18 years of age. Where are the babies going? What's going on? And this is something, again, going towards crime and bail reform. And even our elected officials, how they recklessly allow an individual that has a fucking criminal record for molesting a child around children for their benefit. That would never be okay with me. And that should never be okay with any of our elected officials. Do you want me to mail it to your office, council people, members? 66 kids missing. Where are they going? They say that there's an issue with sex trafficking, child trafficking, and organ harvesting. That's right, organ harvesting. And in fact, there was an organ harvesting ring that was broken up in New Jersey that involved corrupt elected officials. Several mayors were arrested along with rabbis who have been selling organs in the black market for 10 years. Unbelievable. What's going on? Keep your babies safe. Don't let them go out until this bail reform thing ends, and Nader Sage and all his bail reform, let criminals out right away crew is out of office. Teachers and parents look for increased funding in the wake of low test scores. That's right, folks. The pandemic hurt our kids. Decades of progress made by our students here in the city of Yonkers and in the state of New York, gone in a matter of a year or two as a result of the pandemic, closing of schools, remote learning. It was horrible, but we all knew this, right? I don't think we need a survey, or we don't need experts to tell us that our kids are suffering as a result. And many studies are showing that this will have lasting effects right into their adulthood. That's right. So parents and teachers are calling for more money from the pandemic relief. There's no more money. There's no more money, because no matter how much Nader Sage likes to tell you that he brought all this money recently, that was not his doing. That was the result of pandemic relief funds. And now the well is dried up, Nader. Are you going to bring more money, man? Otherwise, we're going to be in a deficit going into the next school year, brother. And does that mean that more kids will be at home or with a babysitter or possibly a sibling, as parents have to work and they cannot send them to the universal pre-K of their choice? Huh, Nader? Where's the money now? Right? Talk a lot of nonsense, man. And this is what you have to understand, folks. This money came as a result of COVID relief money from the federal government. It wasn't the assemblyman who brought it down. Don't let them fool you with that. That would have came even if a squirrel was sitting in his seat as the assemblyman. Educators and parents across the Hudson Valley are calling on schools to use funding from the COVID-19 relief package passed in 2021 after new evidence shows how devastating the pandemic was on education. The results of the first major student test shows new evidence of just how devastating it was. It's hard to know the exact impact district by district, but it's clear standardized test scores plunged as the pandemic erased decades of progress in the classroom. It's no secret that the pandemic wrecked students' learning, but new data from the National Assessment of Educational Progress shows just how badly. From 2019 to 2022, math and reading scores dropped for 4th and 8th graders in New York. Reading scores also went down for 4th graders, while 8th graders showed no progress. Wow. Our babies, again, hurt. She's down with it. It's why she keeps building. Oh, I read that. It's a live experiment. He's showing the world. His point was proven. The places canceled him, but now millions of people are canceling these companies. Yeah, absolutely. That's right. And it was a strategy by Kanye West, most definitely. That's why he went to Skechers. Kanye West ain't trying to rock with Skechers. I mean, he will if he has to, right? He has to get his product out. Because, again, the point is that the people he's speaking of, right, they control the supply of the materials. They control the distribution channels, right? Getting it out to the stores and all that. And even the financing. Because just because Kanye West is a billionaire doesn't mean he can go and finance, his own shoe company by himself out of pocket and get it out to the world. He's going to require financing. And who has a lock on the financing? The banking system. I mean, so Kanye West, folks, if you do your homework, it's not, it's like, imagine black people calling, white people racist because they said that black people, were doing well, right? And controlled, different industries, right? Like or Latinos, right? Imagine that. Because we say that anyway. We wish we did, right? A lot of times, so yeah, I run this, I run that, right? But if you say that about a Jewish person, they call you anti-Semitic. I don't understand that, right? So that's funny. And you got to watch it. I mean, it's very true. I mean, and it's, he had a point also, and this is to the black and Latino folks and everyone, they've been selling this music, right? Rap music, calling black women, specifically Latina women, bees and hoes, encouraging black males and Latino males and anyone who would listen, quite frankly, to commit crimes, specifically murder, kill the op, kill your op, your opposition, a rival gang member who happens to live a few blocks over, so he's the op. But he's another black or Latino male, just like you, trying to make it out of this ghetto, right? It's a struggle. It really is. It's a fight. A lot of pain, trauma already from home, right? The minute we wake up, dealing with the trauma, get dressed, get out the house. Why are we outside in the corner? Because we don't want to be home dealing with the trauma. And so we go out there. Now we're angry from this pain. Where'd my dad go? He just left out the house. My mom is still screaming. She called me a loser. She says I'm going to be a loser like my dad. That pisses me off. And now here comes another guy. I don't like him. He got some new sneakers. He's the eye. Boom, bam, bing, bam, bing. I'm going to take those. Kill him. Bang. 2 lives in. That's how it goes down. That's how it goes down. Right? That's how it goes down. And they're allowed to sell this music and this image and this, the movies and the videos and all that of this that just perpetuates that, especially in the minds of young, impressionable kids who are developing. And then they see the people making millions to sell this image and keep it real, what do you think is going to happen over time? Of course, Chicago is going to look like a war zone. Of course, Atlanta is going to be like a war zone. They have initiation rituals where you go and shoot joggers in Atlanta. You have to show you're not scared. You're down for the gang. And that's okay. Sell that. Make millions off that. And who are the individuals making the most off it? But if you say anything, even as you guys run these industries, you're labeled anti-Semitic. Come on. Something's not right there. Something's not right there, folks. Something's not right. Anyway, I'm Freddy Vazquez. Yep, 50 minutes. I'm up out of here. Just, you have to do your history. Christopher Columbus did not sail for the, he sailed because of the Spanish Inquisition, in case anyone cares about that. 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. What else was happening in 1492? The Spanish Inquisition. What was that? Well, that was the monarch gave an ultimatum to all the Jewish people in Spain, Sephardic Jews like my ancestors, either convert to Catholicism or leave the country. So they funded Columbus. He went out there, discovered this new world. And this is what it is today, folks. And so that many people don't know that. And many people, we're taught in school that he went and sailed for another reason on behalf of Queen Elizabeth and stuff. And that's not true. That's not true. Like Dino Mike dancing like a goofball to a DMX track. I remember that with Tasha Diaz trying to pander to voters who he hopes will give him a pass for being Republican. Well, you know who did that? John Rubo was over at Serrato Park handing out free food with Tasha Diaz when he was running for re-election against Carlos Burgos. And then after the elections was over, you only see him on that side or near that side when he's going to his business over there, that he's just excited. It's going to blow up even more when they build a Teutonia, 900 units. Imagine all the business John Rubo is going to get at his business. Man, it pays off to be the chair of the real estate committee, doesn't it? And by the way, is it cultural appropriation? See, this is what I don't, just talking about this, right? We're talking about this, right? Can we keep it honest? Can I be honest? Can I keep it real? Elena Goldberg, she's not Latina. There was an article that said she was the first Latina city court judge. Am I wrong? Is she Latina? I think she's a Goldberg, Vazquez by marriage. I mean, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying, my people? You see what I'm saying? Oh, you want that Spanish vote, Goldberg? What do you do for the Spanish people? Besides, use our, I don't know. All right, what do you do? I mean, that's crazy. I saw that article. What? And somebody sent it to me. They said, she's not Latina. I said, no, she's not Latina. Carmen Gomez Goldberg is not her mom. That's her stepdaughter. I mean, I don't like that. I want to cancel my man Kanye, but then y'all want to use my Latina thing, you know what I mean? Latino thing to try to sell yourself and win. You see what I'm saying, folks? See what I'm saying? I'm Freddy Vazquez. I'm up out of here. Keeping it real as can be. Not Latina, girl. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Cultural appropriation for votes. I am Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. I keep it real, honest, unbiased, unfiltered. I love everybody of every race, every whatever the heck you want to be. But we have to, call a spade a spade. We have to speak facts, right? We have to speak facts. Look what's happening here in Yonkers. We get pushed out by, I'm saying, all these movie studios. I didn't want to take over the early childhood and daycare business too? Can we get anything, man? Can we get something? Yeah. Unbelievable, folks. Anyway, that's what Yonkers gonna be. We're Hollywood under Hudson, folks. Who you gonna vote for? Lee Zeldin or Kathy Hochul? Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Kathy Hochul or Lee Zeldin? And when it comes to abortion, Lee Zeldin is not gonna try and make it illegal here in New York. So anyone who supports abortion, don't worry about that. I know that's a hot topic. Bail reform, I think he sits on the right side of bail reform in my eyes, and anyone who wants to live in a safe community. A lot of cars getting robbed, Cadillac converters getting robbed. That's expensive. It's like $4,000 to replace out here, right? I don't like thieves, man. Keep them in jail. We got to protect the people, the law-abiding people, and our kids. 66 children missing. 3 or 4 of them from the city of Yonkers. Black and Latino children. Where are they going? All under the age of 18. One as young as 13. Test scores are down. Wow, our kids are suffering. And they're worrying about luxury development. We need housing. We need better education, improved education. We have to go harder with education. I think we need twice as much money in the budget now to make up for all the lost progress. But you're worried about luxury development. Oh, great, you're building a school so kids could be actors. God bless you. I hope you all win Emmys, Oscars. I mean, hey, look, Denzel Washington is from Yonkers.
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
I want to end this quick because I'm greedy and I want some butter chicken. So thank you.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
What is that sweet spot?
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I went to Yonkers public schools. I don't think you did. We can go on all night with this, honey.
In another one, Mr. Rubo lied to me, and I don't vote for a person that lied to me. Thank you very much.
I was raised.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddy Vazquez.
Freddy wins.